Modern stealth aircraft, from the first F-117 to the most sophisticated fighters in the US, Russia and China, owe their main strategic advantage to the work of a certain Soviet physicist responsible for formulating the theory that made it possible for aircraft to hide from enemy radars, publishes the German newspaper Stern. The Pentagon always sought to be ahead of its possible rivals in the field of military technology. With the rise of anti-aircraft missiles surprised in the 50s, the superiority of U.S. aviation began to be jeopardized and the country looked for a way to recover the supremacy before the challenge of the radars. American military engineers experimented with various methods. For example, with a layer of protective paint that absorbed radio waves, something that was used in the design of the famous spy planes U-2 and State Route 71. Although its main defensive characteristic was its high speed and not its invisibility, recalls the newspaper. Everything changed when American scientists acquired translations of the works of the Soviet physicist Pyotr Ufimtsev, the father of furtive technologies. He developed the theory and the formula that made airplanes disappear from enemy radars. U.S. engineers themselves described Ufimtsev's work as advancement in stealth technology, says Gernot Kramper, the article's author. By seizing Ufimtsev's technology, the U.S. designed and manufactured several prototypes that culminated in the F-117A Nighthawk, the father of modern stealth aircraft. In fact, the ugly design of the F-117A had nothing to do with being able to disappear or not from the radars. Computers at that time simply were not able to properly calculate how the radio waves would reflect on the plane. Explains Kramper. The F-117A evolved into the strategic B-2 Spirit bombers and even the F-22 Raptor fighters. From them arose the family of the F-35. Today, stealth fighters are the main technological advantage of American aviation against any rival, although Russia and China recently presented similar aircraft. It should be noted that the contribution of Ufimtsev is not limited to having formulated the theory that gave rise to stealth. In 1990, the scientist traveled to the University of California as a visiting professor. At the same time he began to collaborate with Northrop Grumman in the B-2 bomber. There he received the Grumman Medal for his scientific contributions. His colleagues and alumni in Russia blamed the incipient crisis in the country, the same that would end the USSR, that the scientist had moved to the United States. But it also influenced that the new aircraft that were being developed in Russia did not take into account the technology that the scientist had developed. One only experimented with making the ballistic missiles invisible. There are already symptoms that predict the decline of invisible aircraft. They avoid being detected by conventional radars, but it turns out that you can use the so-called passive radars to detect them, warns the author. As an example, Kramper mentions statements by the Russian Ministry of Defense about the fantasies of furtive technologies.